Good morning, South Africa. Good morning, the world. How's your week been? Well, when I pulled out my two sets of cards, these two jumped out. And both upright, falseness. I'll just see what that's all about. There is a lot of truth being hidden in the world. And the other one, Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. Upright, practicality and dependability. It's always good qualities to have. Maybe that's the theme of the week. Knight of Pentacles, personality. The youthful figure in this card looks intently at the pentacle that hovers above his outstretched hands. This card indicates a steady and dependable personality with qualities that can always be relied upon. He or she could be a student or an apprentice. Oh, that's the opposite of falseness. Situation. This card indicates a working environment with a fixed routine that is very boring. It may only be temporary. Well, boring is good. Let's say companies that are boring are actually good. Good investments. So I collected like 150 books last month, and I just grabbed a few. I just I wanted to be a surprise. Let's see, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Jules Verne. A mysterious creature, larger and more rapid than a whale, has been haunting the deep. Professor Arona has been invited to join a task force to rid the seas of the monster. Muse, guard my hand. What is the message for this week? Chapter 16, A Stroll on the Ocean Bed. The compartment was, probably speaking, both the arsenal and the dressing room of the Nautilus. A dozen sets of diving suits were hanging on the wall, ready for use. When he saw them, Ned Land showed an obvious repugnance to wearing one. But Ned, I said to him, the forests of the Isle of Crespo are really underwater forests. I see, muttered the disappointed harpooner, whose hopes of tasting fresh meat were fading. What about you, Monsieur? I don't know. Are you going to put on one of these things? It's a must. Well, it's up to you, replied the Canadian, shrugging his shoulders. As far as I'm concerned, I would never wear one unless forced to do so. Nobody's going to force you, Master Ned, said Captain Nim. What about... Blah, 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 blah. I go wherever Monsieur goes. At a call from the captain, two members of the crew came to help us put on those heavy waterproof garments made of seamless rubber and designed to withstand considerable pressure. They resembled suits of armor but were both strong and flexible, consisting of a pair of trousers and a tunic. The trousers ended in thick boots with heavy laden soles. The material of the tunic was stretched over bands of copper, which crossed the chest, protecting it from the pressure of the water and leaving the lungs free to breathe. The sleeves ended in a supple pair of gloves, which did not interfere with the movements of the hand. Oh, that's tough going. Maybe that's the hard work that the cards are talking about. A Thousand Splendid Suns. Khaled Hosseini. Miriam is only 15 when she is sent to Kabul to marry Rashid. Nearly 2 decades later, a friendship grows between Miriam and a local teenager, Laila, as strong as the ties between mother and daughter. When the Taliban take over, life becomes a desperate struggle against starvation, brutality, and fear. Yet love can move people to act in unexpected ways and lead them to overcome the most daunting obstacles with startling heroism. Yeah, we need some heroic people in this world. Yes, guide my hand. What is the message for the week? One day during a visit with Aziza, Laila saw a middle-aged woman, a burqa pushed back, visiting with three boys and a girl. Laila recognized the sharp face, the heavy eyebrows, if not the sunken mouth and grey hair. She remembered the shawls, the black skirts, the curt voice, how she used to wear her jet black hair tied in a bun, so that you could see the dark bristles on the back of her neck. Lala remembered this woman once forbidding the female students from covering, saying women and men were equal, that there was no reason women should cover it if men didn't. At one point, Kala Ragma looked up and caught her gaze, but Leila saw no lingering, no light of recognition in her old teacher's eyes. Men and women were equal, so why should women wear the burqa? Madame Bouvier. Emma Bouvier is beautiful and bored, trapped in a marriage to a mediocre doctor and stifled by the banality of provincial life. An ardent devourer of sentimental novels, she longs for passion and seeks escape in fantasies of high romance, in voracious spending and eventually in adultery. But even her fears bring her disappointment, and when real life continues to fail to live up to romantic expectations, consequences are devastating. Flaubert's erotically charged and psychologically acute portrayal of Emma Bovary caused a moral outcry on its population in 1857. It was deemed so lifelike that many women claimed they were the model for this heroine, but Flaubert insisted, Madame Bovary, c'est moi. Jesus, guide my hand. What is the message? He was soon on the other side of the river. This was his way back to Lachette, and Emma could see him in the meadow, walking along beneath the poplars, pausing every so often, like someone lost in thought. She's rather nice, he was saying to himself. She is very nice. The doctor's wife. Lovely teeth, dark eyes, a dainty little foot, and the style of a Parisian. Where the devil did she come from? Where did he find her, that great oaf? Monsieur Boulanger was 34 years old. His temperament was brutal and his intelligence shrewd. Having been with a large number of women, he was something of an expert. This one he had found pleasing, so he was dreaming about her and her husband. I think he's very stupid. She is certainly tired of him. What a lot. With his dirty nails and his 3 days of beard, while he trots off after his patients, she sits darning socks. And we are bored. We want to live in town, dance a polka every night. Poor little thing, gasping for love, just like a carp on the kitchen table wants to be in the water. Three worlds, 3 words of gallantry, and she'd adore you, I'm sure of it. She would be tender, charming, yes, but how do we get rid of her afterwards? Hmm? Aha, the Tarbon know. A book that set out to honor Thabo Mbeki, in fact, unveils some quite remarkable women and men who make this collection absorbing reading. Presidents, bodyguards, busy mothers, passionate economists, judges, lawyers, insurgent diplomats, tenacious politicians, and many others who have come into his orbit share stories of the Thabo Mbeki they know. This is no an anthology of praise songs. Here you will find affection, but also candid portraits of the man who detests personality cults. Banya Faku. Hello. Amanati Lekai. People starting to work on the farm. It's 8 o'clock. Music's got my hand. What shall we learn through the life of Thabo Mbeki? As I worked in Mbeki's office at the Tuli House, I discovered that he was a quintessential diplomat who was driven by the motto of Africa First. From the time of Nelson Mandela's presidency, critics indicated South Africa was punching above its weight because soon South Africa became a member of the multilateral institution. It came to be regarded as a progressive voice, especially on behalf of the underdeveloped and emerging nations. South Africa did not take up positions of expediency, but rather defended positions of rationality and consistency. Thabo Mbeki had a particular passion for and interest in the evolution of South Africa's foreign policy, on which had a strong influence. His focus was to place South Africa strategically and significantly on the continent of Africa. It was precisely because South Africa during apartheid had regarded itself as an appendage of the Western world in Africa and never in any way align itself with the formalization of African unity that Mbeki instituted the Africa First political philosophy and developed his idea of the African Renaissance for a liberated South Africa. Yes, he was a remarkable man. I had the honor of meeting him once, and he was really amazing, a very good listener. Take a horse to the wilderness, sneak steal. Hmm? News has got my hand. What is the message of the day? There goes Jackson Mike. Chapter 7, Saddles and Numerals. A good saddle is an investment. Yeah, I can't do a decent job without decent tools. A good saddle is an investment. It is also an item of equipment of which there are 6 times as many inferior designs as good ones. No other item of your equipment needs as careful selection as a saddle for the injuries caused by an inferior one that can leave permanent damage. Because you might be unable to invest a large sum of money in purchasing your first saddle, you may be in danger of selecting one of poor design. Africans, particularly the people who can least afford it, are sold inferior saddles by unscrupulous dealers to an alarming extent in southern Africa. If the majority